The main question was, what does playing for Chubb actually look like on Sunday?
Yeah, but then again, that too is that's like asking how confident are you? Well, I'm 6.6 on the confidence scale.
Then again, if we didn't like the question, we should have said something to Mike yesterday. So that's a bad job out of all of us.
No, I didn't like that question, so I went to the one that I figured was the only one with meat on the bone.
But it's a good topic.
That's right.
It is actually a good topic because do players do that? Like, are they motivated by playing for an injured teammate? And I would always ask, whenever we say, well, they're going to be more motivated because of trash talk, or they're going to be more motivated because of a player, I always ask the question to myself, well, why didn't they have, I would think, if I were good enough to be a professional athlete, that I would have motivation on 100 all the time.
You would think that, Bill, but
obviously it's not true.
You know that it's not true because you know that there are players that just when the play gets bigger, their performance gets better.
Right.
T.J. Watt is a guy that I think is very, very known for that. I also think that Aaron Donald is a guy. You saw him make a play in the Super Bowl that gave the ring to the Rams and took it from the Bengals. I think in those last couple of plays in that final series, in that final drive, you just saw Aaron Donald go to another gear.
Yeah.
And you didn't even think he had another gear.
I don't think T.J. Watt belongs in a conversation with Aaron Donald. I don't think T.J. Watt's ever won a playoff game, has he?
I don't know. I
don't think so.
But I'm not going to judge him on that. I'm talking about play in big moments in the games.
Yeah, I hear you.
T.J. Watt stands off the screen.
But Aaron Donald has played in big games. T.J. Watt really hasn't at the same level.
0-1 in the playoffs, by the way. It's not.
But no, I would say Monday night was a big game.
0-3 in the playoffs.
It's just as big game as any other game,
It's not a playoff game. You're right, but I think it's a huge game. The Steelers started 0-1. They could not afford to go 0-2.
Again,
it was big for them, and he made big plays.
For all the talk of Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, the best player in that game was Alex Highsmith. I don't even think it's debatable. And the second best player was Grant Delpit.
Partly because of who Highsmith was lined up against. Like, could you imagine? If for that game, Highsmith had to go up against Joe Thomas. Like, he was blowing by.
Well, but T.J. Watt
Jed Wills like he wasn't there.
T.J. Watt's always getting the easier test in these games because he's often going against the right tackle, which Myles Garrett more often goes against the left tackle.
I think he probably does more often than not go against the right tackle.
Who?
Or the left tackle, I mean.
Yeah. Myles. But anyway, I do think that I am buying that the Browns are going to be extra motivated because of Nick Chubb. I am buying that. Does that mean, they should win this freaking game? This is ridiculous. Go and beat the Titans. The Titans are not that good. The Browns have a better defense. They should have a better offense. They're at home.
We always undervalue the Titans. Every
not just the Titans. I feel like it's every team. Last week you were saying, and we said at your own peril, Steelers aren't any good. They're not, but they beat us. But what scares me is, I've heard a lot of people this week say, we're supposed to beat the Titans. The Titans last year with a backup quarterback were a playoff team.
No, they weren't. They didn't make the playoffs.
I thought that. Did they not make the playoffs?
No, they won 7 games.
What'd they finish?
A game under 500.
Oh, it's because they were in the division. But if they won their last game, they would have made the playoffs, correct?
But they didn't make it.
No, I know. But I mean,
they lost their 7 last games.
I don't think we want to just. What's their record?
They had lost 10 games in a row before last week.
What's their record?
They're 1-1.
Okay.
But what's your point?
Well, they beat the Chargers last week.
Beat a pretty good team last week.
I understand that. I understand that.
Last week we were dismissing the Steelers at our own peril.
I didn't think the Steelers. Nobody thought. I thought the Browns were going to win, but I didn't go into it saying there's no chance the Steelers are going to win the game. It's the NFL. Anybody can beat anybody on any given week. We get it. What I'm saying is the Browns have the better roster. They're at home. Win the freaking game. Let's go.
They should.
The Titans can't win.
I mean, what are they? 3.5-point favorite?
And this underestimating the Titans. They haven't played the Titans in 3 years, so it's not like we're talking about the Titans that much.
But we always. I mean, I'm just as guilty of it. When we talked about if you're a sound defense and a running team, well, you're the Tennessee Titans. You're not going to win anything playing
because they haven't won anything.
Yes, but they win a lot of games in the regular season.
Not last year.
Well, they lost Tannehill last year for what do you miss? The entire second half of the season?
I don't know. I don't remember how much he missed.
How many games did Tannehill play last year?
Give me 1 sec.
Before he went out. It was interesting when we had Teresa on yesterday. She'd said that Tannehill really looked bad in week 1, rusty. Yeah. And then she said there was almost like a flip was switched. And she said, there's Tannehill again. That's the guy that we've come to know.
He played 12 games.
And what was stunning
What
to
was
me,
his record last year?
6-6.
Okay. So they're about a 500 team with them.
That's not good.
Go over the I mean, over the last season plus, the Browns are 3 games under 500.
That's not good either.
It's not. I think the home field and the Browns defense, to your point, that's a W. Don't screw it up. Don't throw interceptions. Deshaun Watson is – the Browns' offense, I think, has turned it over 6 times. Am I right?
That is correct.
Watson's responsible for most of those, if not all of them. I don't know. He fumbled twice.
Njoku fumbled once. That's not on Watson at all.
No, but Watson fumbled twice last week and threw a pick.
He had 3, correct.
Okay.
The week before he threw a pick, and somebody fumbled. Who fumbled the week before? Was it Elijah Moore?
Ford.
Ford
fumbled.
Watson dropped the snap, picked it up, handed it.
He's responsible for 4 of the 6 turnovers.
I think really, if you were going to, for me, if you're going to clean up one area, it's the turnovers. If you don't give the ball away with this defense, you should beat 75% of the teams on your schedule.
The Titans won 7 games last year. But prior to that, 12, 11, 9, 9, 9, 9. Like, they just they're a good team in the regular season. They're not going to win a championship.
Yeah, but
they're
not the same team that won those games. They've lost some of their talent over the years.
But they still have the same formula and the same identity of very disciplined team, really well coached. They run the ball, and they play good defense. Yeah. I know they've had problems.
I don't think their defense has been very good the last
Well, we're going to find out Sunday. Yeah. We'll find out. But it's a formula. Like, I remember in 2019 thinking the Browns are going to roll them.
I did too.
And how wrong
we all did, and we were wrong.
And ever since then, with the Titans, they're better than you ever give them credit for, I think. And not you personally, just all of us in general.
I don't think.
I just think we dismiss it.
I think during those years you were right. I think that runs over for the Titans personally. But we'll see.
You might be right.
We'll find out. I mean, they did. It was a good win beating the Chargers last week, no doubt.
Really
That's a good win. I'm just saying, like, you're supposed to win your home games against teams aren't. Let's just get it done.
Last night, Thursday Night Football, they talked about when was the last time the Niners lost a home game. I think they've won 11 of 12 or 12 in a row, something like that at home.
But they're a good franchise.
They're not a good franchise. They're a great franchise who right now has a great football team. That's a really, really, really good football team. I just remember the whole time I was watching them last night, I'm shaking my head saying, that's not
The only question with them is health, which is for every team.
Sure.
And is Purdy good enough when it matters? We'll see.
Yeah.
I like Purdy, and I thought he played well for the second half. But in that first drive, he threw
missed
3
some
balls
throws.
that could have been picks.
He missed some throws.
That could have easily been picks.
I'm just curious.
McCaffrey is he good.
God, is he good.
He's on another level right now.
Today's Friday, and we have shot, stabbed, burned, and buried the bodies of the Browns for all week long.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious. If Jed Wills blocks Alex Highsmith,
They win.
they win that game.
They win the game.
What are we saying?
Well,
We're not as negative. We're still worried about Watson,
you know the
though.
saying, though, the winning hides all the warts.
Yeah, of course.
Like, you go back, when you win a game by 1 point, you forget all of the plays that preceded the final gun that didn't go well because you got the. That's why it's just about just win and advance.
And figure it out. We would still be worried about Watson. But any criticism of Watson, people would say, they're 2-0. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
And to some degree, that's true.
It was like when the Steelers were 11-0, and you watched them week after week squeak out wins.
I'm
not sure this football team's actually good, but they're 11-0. So what can I say about it?
I think people felt that way about the Vikings last year.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great example.
It's happened a number of times where teams jump off to this ridiculous start and they just get breaks. The Browns haven't had breaks.
Yeah.
They just haven't. From the very first snap of that football game, I immediately thought back to the playoff game when the Browns did the same thing to the Steelers, but in their building.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, oh, here comes the tidal wave. Like, this is the way it's going to be today.
But in the end, it wasn't.
It ended the same way it started.
Yeah, but it wasn't a tidal wave.
A turnover that led to a touchdown, and that was it.
But if I recall, the Browns answered on the next possession, didn't they? Isn't that when Nick got hurt? Or no?
No.
That was second quarter.
Yeah, second quarter.
So they tied it the second. I was at the game. You'd think I'd remember. It was 4 days ago.
It all blurs together.
It was the second quarter, I guess.
It all blurs together.
But I felt like they handled that first punch okay.
I thought they did too. They survived it.
Yeah.
But, in the end, it ended the same way it started.
Yeah.
We gave them the football and 6 points. You can't do it.
This is I always get mad when people say must wins early in the season.
Yeah.
And I'm not calling this a must win.
No.
But it's going to be
a really important game.
If they don't win this game, things are going to get ugly.
Well, we talked yesterday. If you don't win, you're 1-2 looking at Baltimore, San Francisco.
Stefanski's on the hot seat, officially on the hot seat. If they
Well,
lose
G,
this game.
remember G, all off season,
You got 4 games.
6, I think he said.
Yeah, he said
You got 6 games.
Because there's
And if you start 1-2, and then you've got to face Baltimore and San Francisco, they'll probably be underdogs in both of those games. If you
the
lose
Baltimore
those,
game's at home.
yeah, I know, but I mean, if they lose
Yeah, if
this
they
and
lose
fall
to
to 1 and
Tennessee,
2, they'll
yeah.
likely be a home dog.
And,
I mean,
slight dog. Maybe
you
a
hate
pick 'em.
looking
Maybe a
ahead,
pick 'em.
but
Yeah.
it's not like we have Arizona and the Jets.
No, right.
We've got Baltimore followed by San Francisco with the bye week in between.
Yeah.
If you do start 1 and 4, you know how it comes unraveled really quickly.
Well, you think if they go 1 and 3, you think Stefanski can get fired? 1 and 3.
I don't think that.
There's a
see.
bye.
I've said all offseason.
I know you have.
It's setting up for a bye week firing, but it depends on what those look like. It's hard to
Yeah.
say without seeing how they look. I think they're going to be 2-2 at the bye. I really struggled with this pick. I really struggled. I didn't send it to Anthony till about 9:15 this morning because I hate being wrong. Oh my God, I hate being wrong. So these prediction things drive me crazy. I take them way too seriously, and I kept flip-flopping, going back and forth on. And I told you guys, I didn't have a good feeling. Even if they won Monday, I didn't think I was going to pick them to win this game because it was such a physical game in a short week and everything else.
Yeah.
But I do think even if they lose this game, they're going to come back and beat Baltimore. I just feel like this is a 2-2 team at the bye.
Okay. Look, at 2 and 2, nobody's getting fired at 2 and 2.
No.
I don't even think he's getting fired at 1 and 3.
No.
1 and 5, that might be a different story.